Let's harvest a few and see what happens in a couple days. She's a nutrient accumulator. Because they're nice and colored up. And they're actually... even crunchy, they're good.
Yeah.
All I can say is I feel good when I'm gardening.
Yeah, man.
When I'm in the soil. I'm barefoot.
And being barefoot. Some cadotas on the other side, some black mission figs, and then these are all these pomegranates right down here. Beautiful. And then, yeah, I was just gonna pick a couple figs here, and I'm gonna give a fig to Jake because he is planting some winter crops, and a fig is always nice. Here you go, brother. Here's a fig.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That one was especially soft. I think it should.
It sucked right out. Cheers.
They're very sweet.
Mm-hmm. See buckthorn just put off. Almonds are just smiling. That's when you want to grab them, when they're smiling like that, like, oh, like a clam. And then Allie taught me with the cabbage family to, for some reason, whether it's true or not, I'm doing it. And that's just compress them a little bit. They like to be snug. And then top coat. She's gonna be happy. She is happy. How I first started getting into permaculture is coming out and just looking at how my son was traveling in the sky. Yeah. It's huge, you know? It affects so many things. So it's really about looking around and using that design science to take care of yourself. And it's broken down in so many different ways. But it's really just a design science, a way to design your habitat so that it provides for you. It's non-pareil strain.
What's it called?
Non-pareil.
Okay.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
And then all-in-one almond.
The all-in-one back there.
And this is another strain of almond, I forget her name.
And so far you're preferring the non-pareil.
Oh yes, totally. And this is the one the commercial growers grow a lot because it's just so delicious. Let me show you one inside. Nutcracker.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. But you can see the white flesh. And it's actually moist. So, it's really tasty. There are better ways to get into nuts, but...
Yeah, obviously, pretty thin shell though.
Yeah.
Compared to walnuts or...
And it's moist and good.
Yeah.
Oily. At first for me it was about eating healthy food because I had just gotten into raw foods, superfoods, and all that stuff. I was going to Whole Foods and paying just a ton of money for like dino kale, which isn't cheap and partially organic. So when I found out about gardening, square foot gardening, which was on some of your first videos in Manhattan, that you could do square foot gardening in your apartment or on a balcony. And at that time I was in a condominium complex and I had a small side yard, and I just thought, man, I can grow my own greens at the very least. So that's how it really started. It was square foot gardening.
Yeah, okay.
What I saw in that apartment, man, goodness. Is, once they have their beds in place, of course, is plug and play.
Yeah.
And this is mycorrhizal fungi.
Cool.
Ingredients on the back. That just makes sense.
A little goes a long way.
Just need a little bit near the root zone.
Yeah.
Tickle the roots a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's a cushy planting right there.
Yeah. And then top coat with more.
Jeez. It's about as good as it gets,
More
man.
minerals. And then she's good to go.
And this stuff is Azomite.
Yeah. That A to Z minerals, rock dust. This is about year 4. I'm not very good
2008?
with dates, yeah. Yeah, about that. And this is one of the first beds I planted.
Okay.
And then we sort of jumped out from here. And I just kept mimicking the square foot garden method, which is what I'm using now, even to plant this. Mel Bartholomew's spacing method, I just think is pretty cool. It works. You can splice so many different plants in, so once you kind of know how big they get and how happy they are, then that just really helps you to kind of understand the grid. I look at it as like little farms, you know. I'm like up in the sky looking down at my farm or my permaculture food forest, and how am I going to design this little forest right here?
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of your template.
Yeah.
And then you kind of do the same thing out here.
Yeah.
So this area, apples and you know, peaches, almonds, they all seem to really do well here. And I have actually tropicals in the dome. It's really just about the microclimate. But outside here, definitely most nuts.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything, because we get a nice freeze here. So, you know, the almonds get a really nice cold freeze, which they need.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 different strains out front there. And yeah, I've got sea buckthorn out there. It gets to -40. Goji, which is over in this bed, which can get to the sub-0 temps. This is Asian pear right here. So we're really growing pretty much. I'm trying to see what there is I can't grow.
Yeah.
In this climate zone.
How often does it rain here in the summertime?
Very little. So we use drips and these methods here to create a microclimate.
Yeah.
So with the mulch layer and the shade cloth, and coming in the daytime, in the early morning hours, and you wet down the mulch layer, then that just creates a just perfect little microclimate for these greens.
What's your biggest advice to people wanting to start gardening?
Oh man, just do it. Take your shoes off. Really, that's like the best advice I could say, is take your shoes off. When you get out to your patch of earth or whatever you're working, just take it off and just sit there if you need to, and just feel for a minute. Just breathe. And that's some of the first things I did when I got into gardening, is I just sit there and grab a patch of earth and just breathe it and look at it and chill with it. And then as far as, you know, obviously you got to learn some methods. After that, books, I'd say Mel Bartholomew's book, Square Foot Gardening. Yeah. That changed my life. I mean, it's just really easy to read, and it breaks down gardening. And then when you're ready to learn more about food forests, I check out Toby Hemingway's book, Gaia's Garden, sorry. 2nd edition. Yes. Because it's got a lot, probably 30, 40 more pages or something like that, and some more photos. So, ryutah.com, and I'm also on Facebook, Ryutah, and we also have a page called Pure Joy Town on Facebook, and purejoytown.com. Don't forget the town, because this is the town we're living in, is Pure Joy.
There should be a town called Pure Joy. Someone should build a community called Pure Joy.
I gotta throw this in there, man, because, you know, I've been on all sort of pharmaceuticals in my life, antidepressants, things like that. Yeah. And when I started learning about that there's actually a bacteria in the soil called Mycobacterium basae, which can increase serotonin production in the brain. When I found that out, it just, little things like that help you realize, like, wow, so that's why you feel so good when you're gardening. That's why you feel so good when you're in the sun. And, you know, not much for science, but I am for feel and experience. Yeah. And all I can say is I feel good when I'm gardening.
Yeah, man.
When I'm in the soil, barefoot.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I feel like